Hello, my name's Jonathan. I moved to Guiseley in March with my wife, Marguerite,
Hello.
just as the first lockdown was starting, so we haven't had a chance to get to know you. We are old friends of Roy and Beryl Barry, who tell us that when they lived in Guiseley, they used to worship at the Methodist Church. We moved here to be close to our daughter Joanna, who lives on Oxford Road, and our son Stephen in Leeds. He painted the picture above me of a window in Kirkstall Abbey. Me, I'm a theologian. I write books about God and ethics, and I blog. Before I retired, I was a Church of England parish priest, university chaplain, and tutor in theology and philosophy. So this talk is based on one of my blog posts. Water from a tap is a convenience. Water from a spring is a miracle. I owe the title to a book by Juliette du Boulay, Cosmos, Life and Liturgy in a Greek Orthodox Village. It's a study of traditional village life 50 years ago, before the people adapted to modernity. Du Boulay writes, "Water is a subject of continual interest in the villages, invariably treated with appreciation and discrimination, and, where it is thought to be especially good, with a certain amount of awe. It is commonplace for the quality of the water to be quoted by the people as a particular recommendation for their village, and responsible for the healthy life they feel themselves to have. Visitors felt sorry for them for not having piped water, but Du Boulay explains, in the face of the continual toil necessitated by the carrying of water from the spring, the response to a question about the value of piped water to the houses is telling. It's no trouble to go to the spring, and the water would lose its nature that way. This basic response to a basic element in its natural form indicates the importance in this instance, as in many others, of an unadulterated relationship with the natural world. Water has a nature or essence which is lost to man if too many processes are interposed. Water from a tap is a convenience, but drunk from a hillside or carried from the spring to the table, it is a miracle." Comparing the lifestyles of those 1960s Greeks with our industrial society, their understanding had a dimension that we've lost. They thought their community's life was part of something greater that transcended their physical activities. They saw what they were doing as part of something deeply spiritual, which gave meaning to their lives. Part of that meaning was recognizing resources like water as gifts. This is a common theme of the Bible, and I'm just going to quote one text from the Bible. It comes from Deuteronomy 8, and it may be familiar to you from harvest festivals. The authors of Deuteronomy describe this as a speech by Moses to the Israelites in the desert after they had escaped from Egypt and before they entered their promised land. The speech goes like this. "Take care that you do not forget the Lord your God by failing to keep his commandments, his ordinances, and his statutes, which I am commanding you today. When you have eaten your fill and have built fine houses and live in them, and when your herds and flocks have multiplied, and your silver and gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then do not exalt yourself, forgetting the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness, an arid waste land with poisonous snakes and scorpions. He made water flow for you from flint rock, and fed you in the wilderness with manna that your ancestors didn't know, to humble you and to test you, and in the end to do you good. Do not say to yourself, my power and the might of my own hand have gained me this wealth, but remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth. Compared with those 1960s Greek villagers, this is what our industrialized society has done. It's not just about water, it's about everything. We take the things God gives us, we artificialize them, then we think of them as products of human work, industry, the economy. We forget they are gifts. We forget to be grateful. We forget to appreciate them as they are. So we've become a society that treats our resources as just things to be used in whatever way suits us. It's our lifestyle which is damaging the environment and endangering our future. Those 1960s Greeks didn't and wouldn't have because they related to it in a different way. That kind of pre-industrial society can teach us that we have a part to play in a much bigger scene. The physical things we use are not only physical, they also point us to higher dimensions of reality. How we use them can then be constrained by the extra meanings we perceive in them. It's worth reflecting on the difference. Water from a tap is a convenience. As we fill the kettle, we may be grateful for the plumber. And maybe, if we are in a reflective mood, for the council workers who laid the water pipes. Even perhaps for the people who built the reservoir. Water from a spring is a miracle. Nobody was paid to put it there. However much we know about how clouds are formed and how rain falls, it's provided by forces greater than we can understand. Simply treating it as useful would miss the point. It is useful and we need it, but it is also something to value and respect for its own sake, something to say thank you for. We could say the same about everything we need. To get food, we go to a supermarket, not a forest. We don't see how the animal lived or how the vegetables grew. Instead, we see the queue at the checkout and the credit card machine. The miracle is still there. It is still a gift we can't explain, but it's mediated through such a complex set of human interactions that we fail to notice the wonder of it. We live in a culture that loves to artificialize our lives more and more with a constant succession of new technologies. This artificialization is both cause and effect of a spiritual emptiness. When all that matters to us is getting the physical things we happen to want, we welcome the idea of changing the world around us to get things more easily. And the more we change the world, the harder it becomes to notice how much we are given for free. So it may be worth reflecting on those words from the Deuteronomist. Do not say to yourself, my power and the might of my own hand have gained me this wealth. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth. Thank you.